गिरिवरधारी
गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
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 गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन
यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
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 नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 5, Text 2. Vidura uvāca sukhāya karmāṇi karoti loko natoi sukhaṁ vānyad-upāramaṁ vindeta bhūyas tata eva duḥkhaṁ atra yuktaṁ bhagavān vedanya. So we don't have the verse written on board, so we'll just read it through. I'll recite the verse again. Vidura uvāca sukhāya karmāṇi karoti loko natoi sukhaṁ vānyad-upāramaṁ vindeta bhūyas tata eva duḥkhaṁ jadatra yuktaṁ bhagavān vaden. Vidura uvāca, Vidura said, sukhāya, for attaining happiness, karmāṇi, fruitive activities, karoti, everyone does so, loko, in this world, na, never, taiḥ, by those activities, sukhaṁ, any happiness, ba, or annat, differently, upāramam, satiation, va, either, vindeta, achieves, bhūya, on the contrary, tata, by such activities, eva, certainly, duḥkhaṁ, miseries, jat, that which, atra, under the circumstances, yuktaṁ, right course, bhagavān, O Great One, vaden, may kindly enlighten, na, us. Vidura said, O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activity to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor the mitigation of distress. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please therefore give us directions on how one should live for real happiness. Yeah, so how many of you have iPhones and iPads? Very good. Now, we don't have books, but we have Veda base and we have pocket Vedas. So this today I'm reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 5. This chapter is actually describing that Vidura, after meeting Uddhava, got to know. Vidura left home. Probably you remember when Duryodhana insulted Vidura just before the battle of Kurukshetra, when Krishna came to make peace between the Pandavas and Kauravas, Duryodhana was adamant to fight. Duryodhana did not listen to Krishna's good advices. Even the proposal that Krishna gave, that Pandavas will be happy, just give them 5 villages. They don't want half the kingdom. Just give them 5 villages and avoid the war. They are prepared to just accept 5 villages. And but Duryodhana's response was, without a battle, I'm not giving the size of land, the size of the tip of a needle. So, is there some tissues? So Vidura, so at that time, Vidura was very, very heavy. And Vidura told Dhritarashtra to get rid of Duryodhana. Vidura told, just give it to them, just keep it here. To get rid of Duryodhana. Vidura had been telling that to Dhritarashtra from the time of Duryodhana's birth. When Vidura saw the symptoms, the ominous symptoms that manifested right after Duryodhana's birth, he knew that this boy is going to be the cause of the destruction of the whole dynasty, whole family. And he asked Dhritarashtra to get rid of this child. And it is a common sense. There is a saying in the Vedas, or there is an instruction in the Vedas, that for the sake of protecting, for the sake of the village, for the sake of saving the family, one can get rid of a member of the family. For the sake of saving the village, one can get rid of a family. For the sake of saving a country, one can get rid of a village. And for the sake of saving oneself, one should be prepared to give up everything. So Vidura advised Dhritarashtra. Vidura was not only Dhritarashtra's younger brother, but Vidura was Dhritarashtra's minister. He was his constant companion. They were very attached to each other. Therefore, Vidura was very frank in his opinion to Dhritarashtra, and he told him, get rid of this child, because he is going to be the cause of the destruction of the family. So for the sake of saving the family, you get rid of this child. But Dhritarashtra was so attached to his son that he didn't listen to Vidura's advice. And time again, when Duryodhana would act in an inappropriate way, Vidura would tell Dhritarashtra to get rid of this son. So this time also, when Duryodhana behaved like that, when Krishna himself came to make a proposal, then he started to tell Dhritarashtra, get rid of him, banish him, because you are seeing time and time again, how evil this son of yours is. Get rid of him, banish him. You are the king, you have the right to banish him from the kingdom. But at that time, Duryodhana behaved like a serpent that has been hurt. What does a serpent do? What does a snake do when the snake gets hurt? Shh! He shows his fang. And he started to insult Vidura, calling him all kinds of things, calling him the son of a maidservant who has been maintained by the family, by them, and now he is turning against those who are feeding him, giving him the food to eat. And anyway, so at that time Vidura left home and he started to travel through the places of pilgrimage. And it has been described, Vidura did not have anything, no place to sleep, just sleeping under a tree, no possessions, nothing, just accepting whatever food comes on his way. And in this way Vidura was just traveling like a wandering mendicant, and no one could recognize Vidura. And then he came across Uddhava. And when he met Uddhava, Uddhava also left home. In the meantime, not only the battle of Kurukshetra was over, not only Dhritarashtra became the king of the earth planet, but Krishna already left this planet. And before leaving the planet, Krishna advised Uddhava. That is the Uddhav Gita, which has been described in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And generally that is the seminar I am giving, but because here there is the installation of the deities, so Pradyumna requested me to speak on the topics that would lead to the deities of Krishna Balaram. So I said, fine. But now generally now I am giving the seminar on Uddhav Gita. And yeah, so this actually I'll be giving this seminar on Uddhav Gita for 5 days in Ujjain, from 26th till 1st, 26th December to 1st January. And I already gave the seminar on Uddhav Gita. I gave it in America. Europe part I am not giving, but Australia, when I go there, I'll also give a seminar on Uddhav Gita. and then in Ujjain. So Ujjain one will be the final one for 5 days. Other Uddhav Gitas I gave in America, I gave it in Gita Nagari. That was only for 4 days, I think. Not even 4 days, 3 days. And so it's Uddhav Gita is actually a beautiful narration of Krishna's instructions. You see, like, and let's put it this way. Prabhupada said Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study, high school study, high school course. And what is the next stage of studies? Graduation course is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam has been described up till Krishna's activities up till 10th canto. And then in 11th canto there is Uddhav Gita. What does it mean? Uddhav Gita is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyway, it is very, very wonderful instructions that Krishna gave to Uddhav before leaving the planet. And then after that, Uddhav was instructed by Krishna to go to Badarikashram, Badrinath. And so on the way, when he was going to Badrinath, Badarikashram, he met Vidura. So they had, and Vidura did not have any information like what actually happened, and he told what happened. The battle was, the Kauravas were, the entire family was destroyed. All 100 sons of Dhritarashtra were killed by Bhima alone. Bhima single-handed, just he alone killed. He took a vow to kill all of them. So nobody would kill them. Arjuna or others would not kill the sons of Dhritarashtra. Bhima, one after another, killed all 100 sons. That's how powerful the Kshatriyas were. And that's how they would stick to their vow. Whatever they would vow, they would fulfill that vow. So, all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra had been killed. All the rulers of this planet practically were killed. Yudhishthira Maharaj has been reinstated in the kingdom of the earth planet. And then, Yudhishthira Maharaj ruled for so many years. If I'm not mistaken, he ruled for 36 years. And then after that, Krishna left this planet. And when Krishna left the planet, then Yudhishthira Maharaj decided to leave. And so all this news he received from Uddhava. And then Uddhava instructed him that Krishna told him that Vidura should meet Maitreya Rishi and take instructions from him. So here Vidura actually meets Sukadeva Goswami, Maitreya Rishi. And Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Vidura, best among the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of the celestial Ganges river, Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great, fathomless learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura, who was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him. No, actually it changed into another chapter. Okay, let me see. And so this was the first thing. Vidura came to Maitreya Rishi. Where Maitreya Rishi was, he was in Haridwar. And there Vidura is asking a question. Sukhāya Vidura uvāca, sukhāya karmāṇi karoti loko, natoi sukhaṁ vānyad-upāramaṁ Vindete bhūyas tato eva duḥkhaṁ jad atra yuktaṁ bhagavān vaden. Vidura said, O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness. Isn't it? Everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness. But one finds neither satiation nor the mitigation of distress. Through his endeavor for happiness, does one become satisfied? Have we become satisfied? Narendra Krishna? Ragatmika is already shaking her head. And what about you, Shivam? Yeah, that's wise. And Shipati? No? What's happening? It's a world of unhappiness. World of unhappy people. Discontented, dissatisfied individuals. What about you, Radha Vinod?
I'm happy I found you.
On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Instead of becoming satisfied and content and mitigation of distress, what actually happens? It becomes simply only aggravated by such activities. His difficult situation simply increases. You try to enjoy in the material nature, what do you get? You only get distress. Please therefore give us directions on how one should live for real happiness. Happiness is possible, but we have to find the way. Just as our wise man, Radha Vinod, mentioned. He found happiness, yes. That is the real source of happiness. To find the proper understanding of our existence, the real purpose of our existence. So, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, Vidura asked Maitreya some common questions, which was not originally his intention. Vidura already knew that, he was not interested in this business. This is all, he already left this behind, we can see. He left the materialistic world. He was not making any endeavor for material enjoyment through fruitive activities. He already left the palace. He is already traveling to all the places of pilgrimage for so many years. Almost 40 years he had been traveling. Why is he asking this question? Let's go back to that question. Everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor the mitigation of distress. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please therefore give us direction on how one should live for real happiness. As if he didn't know. Right? But Prabhupada is saying, why Vidura asked this question? Vidura asked this question for the benefit of common people. Those who are suffering. If you jump straight into Krishna's pastimes, then most of the people would have missed it out. Most of the people don't understand, what is the goal of life. Why should one take to Krishna consciousness? So Prabhupada is making that point. That's why Prabhupada's purports are so important, because Prabhupada's purport gives us such deep understanding of every single verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why Vidura is asking this question? Vidura asked Maitreya some common questions which was not originally his intention. Uddhava asked Vidura to approach Maitreya Muni and inquire into all the truths concerning the Lord, his name, fame, quality, form, pastimes, entourage, etc. And thus, when Vidura approached Maitreya, he should have asked only about the Lord. But out of natural humility, he did not immediately ask about the Lord, but inquired into a subject which would be of great importance to the common man. A common man cannot understand the Lord. He must first know the real position of his life under the influence of the illusory energy. In illusion, one thinks that he can be happy only by fruitive activities. But what actually happens is that one becomes more and more entangled in a network of action and reaction and does not find any solution to the problem of life. There is a nice song in this connection. Quote, "Because of a great desire to have all happiness in life, I built this house, but unfortunately the whole scheme has turned to ashes because the house was unexpectedly set on fire." It was a poetry, I think, by Chandidas, one devotee of Krishna. Sukhero lagia eghoro bathino onole puriya jaigo. Sukhero lagia means for the sake of sukh, happiness. Sukhero lagia eghoro bathino, I built this house. But onole puriya jai. Onol means fire. Puriya means burnt. I built this house for the sake of happiness, but now it's burning in fire. Isn't that our situation is material nature? We build a house thinking that we'll get happiness, especially nowadays. It is becoming so obvious. Like, you see, like for example, we don't have to go very far. The example that I wanted to give. How many of you have been to the Medolago temple? The Milan? You have been there. You have been there. You haven't been there, yeah? It's a beautiful house. Beautiful. Must have been about 25 acres of land. Beautiful. And they bought it practically at a throwaway price. You know why? Because the husband and wife got divorced and now the property has to be divided between them. So now it's an auction. Sukhero lagia. For the sake of happiness, when they got married, they built the house, they thought they would happily live ever after. But now, the house is burning in fire. So that is, at least in the Vedic time or in the Vedic culture, there was some system where they could all live together relatively happily, big family. You see, when you live in a big family, then there is no question of divorce. They can't think of divorce because it's not just a one person's relationship with the other. It's, a one person's relationship with the entire family. And there is no question of, like I remember when I was young, there was no, we heard about divorce. You know how I heard? Because in our neighborhood there was one woman who was a divorcee. And she became the talk of the town. Oh, she's divorced. And that family was a very wealthy family and she was very, progressive minded woman. Very pretty looking woman, I remember. We used to call her Didi, like the eldest sister. And she got married and, because she was from very wealthy family. She just couldn't adjust with the husband and she came back home. And that's the first time I heard the word divorce. And it was such an unusual thing because, like everybody was kind of, oh, she got divorced, and so, that's, and she was, anyway, what I'm talking about what, 50, 55 years back, that was, divorce was, and today, first of all, 75% people don't get married. And out of 25% people that get married, there is about 75% divorce. It's so, this shows that how the society is becoming degraded. And it's all because, they don't have any inclination towards spiritual life. Now another unfortunate thing, in ISKCON also there is divorce. Like in spite of knowing all that, what does it indicate, That indicates that the society has become so degraded that even to maintain Vedic principle has become difficult. It is not that those who get divorced, you can blame them, Like in some cases, why it gets divorced? I'm talking about in congregation members from the Hindu background, because, husband doesn't take to Krishna consciousness and the wife finds it difficult. Or the husband takes to Krishna consciousness, the wife doesn't like it, she just runs away, goes away. And another reason in ISKCON there is many divorce because, many devotees are coming from the Western background. In that culture, in that, there is no such restriction. So, because they have left that strict rules of the ISKCON structure, or they're on their own in a way, they're acting independently, But when proper Krishna consciousness is established, then there won't be any divorce. There won't be any consideration for divorce. Because after all, our goal is not to be happy in this world. So if I am not happy in this world, why try to make some other arrangement to become happy? Often they get divorced to get married to somebody else. So why should we endeavor for happiness in this world? Just let us accept whatever the situation is. And accept everything that, this Krishna's arrangement to become more Krishna conscious. If the wife is not really very Krishna conscious, or the husband is not Krishna conscious, then the other person should think that, well, it's Krishna's arrangement, like it's making me happy. Like that reminds me, Socrates' wife, Xanthope, she was the expression, very quarrelsome woman. What's the expression? Shrew? Is that the expression, English expression? A quarrelsome woman. She used to always nag him, quarrel, fight with him. And so somebody said something about that to Socrates, that she makes your life so miserable, or something to that effect. Socrates' reply was, no, she's very good, because she makes me realize how miserable this material world is. Socrates, for that matter, was a very wise man. A very wise man, and the belief, his understanding is that he had a very close contact with Vedic culture. He got all his wisdom from the Vedas, from the Vedic culture. Like Socrates, as you all know, like he was made to drink poison. And hemlock. Hemlock is a poisonous herb. The juice of that plant is deadly poison. So he was made to drink that poison. So one of his disciples came and told him that why you had to die without, something like that. You did not commit any sin, then why do you have to die? Then Socrates' reply was, do you think I should die committing sins? You are sinless, you are dying. Why you had to die, because although you are sinless. So his reaction was, do you expect that I should become sinful and die as a result of that? So he was very wise man in that way. From his statements we can see. So, so this is how a wise person knows that this material nature is a place of suffering. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. One of the things that a wise person knows is that this material nature is a place of birth, death, old age and disease. So it's a place of suffering. So the question should be, what should be the goal of life? What should be the goal of life? The goal of life should be understand the reality of this material nature and become situated on the spiritual platform. And this is what is leading. Thank you, Narendra Krishna. I got some mucus in my throat. And this is actually leading, this questions from Vidura is leading to Maitreya's description. Actually Maitreya is giving Srimad Bhagavatam, Maitreya Rishi. What Maitreya Rishi spoke to Vidura is Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami is narrating that, but good part of Maitreya Rishi's thing is actually dealing with Srimad Bhagavatam, the aspects of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Sukadeva Goswami taking it to the ultimate point, to Krishna's pastimes. Describing Bhagavatam has 10 aspects. Bhagavatam deals with creation, sub-creation, sarga, visarga, sthanam, planetary systems, the situation of the planetary system. Poshanam, how the Lord is maintaining this material world. Utaya, the tendency to procreate, tendency for creation. Manantar, the descriptions of the domains or reigns of different manus. Manantar. Ishanu Katha, the activities of the incarnations of the Lord. The Nirodha, cessation of material existence, Mukti, liberation, and Ashraya, Samambonam, the ultimate goal, ultimate shelter. So, so this is what comprises Mahapuran. Mahapuran, Bhagavat is Mahapuran because it has all these 10 aspects. Many other Puranas deal with only 5 aspects, 6 aspects, but Bhagavatam deals with all 10. So when we go through Maitreya's description, we can see that he is describing about the creation, sub-creation, and so forth. good part of Bhagavatam has been described by Maitreya Rishi. And this is what we can see. In order to understand this material nature, we have to understand how this material nature has been created. Isn't it? Then, sub-creation, how the universe is generated from the body of Mahavishnu. Then how Brahma came from the navel of Mahavishnu and, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And Brahma actually started this creation in the universe. In the material nature becomes manifest, the universes are created. Then the creation in the universe, that is the sub-creation. What Brahma did, from Brahma started. And then sub-creation will lead to the planetary systems. What is the structure of this universe? Every universe has 14 planetary systems. 7 higher, 7 lower. Then how this universe, how this material world is maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the real wisdom. This is the real wisdom. How the Lord created, how the Lord is maintaining. And then that will lead to our actual identity. Who are we? How we got created. Not only we get to know how the universe is created, how we got created, how we came to this material nature, what is our origin. We all came from the spiritual world. That is the real knowledge. And we are in this material nature by the divine arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to achieve some mission, fulfill some objective. And that objective is to give up the tendency to enjoy independently, but become subordinate to Krishna and depend upon Krishna's will. Now what we are doing, what we are trying to do, we are trying to make this material body active, alive, and trying to enjoy through this material body. Materialistic way of life means trying to enjoy through the material body. But Krishna consciousness means, now the consciousness from the body should be shifted to Krishna. Who is the source of consciousness? See the difference? Here I am trying to make this body conscious. Is it an easy job? It's such a troublesome job. Can you imagine trying to make a lump of matter, lump of dead matter conscious? That's what we are doing. That's what our existence is. We are trying to make this lump of inert matter conscious. And not only conscious, try to enjoy through it. What a big endeavor. Therefore, the more we try, the more we suffer. Now, what is the solution to that, from that condition? What is the way to get rid of that miserable endeavor? Become connected to Krishna. We are trying to make this conscious. Now let us become conscious through Krishna's consciousness. Krishna is the source of consciousness. In this respect, we can consider one example. The sun and the rays of the sun. You see, our relationship with Krishna can be understood through this analogy. Sun and the rays of the sun. How many rays are there from the sun? Innumerable. What are the rays? Rays are actually the minute particles of the sun. Right? The sun is the source and the rays are the minute light, source of light that is coming from the sun. Now, when a ray is connected to the sun, It's already full of light and heat. But if the ray becomes disconnected from the sun, then what will happen? Huh? When the ray becomes disconnected from the sun, then it won't have any light. Now to understand this point also, let's consider another analogy, a spark and fire. Similar example, like sun is like the fire, big fire, and a spark is like the ray, minute fire. When the spark comes out of the fire, then what happens? Does it retain its fiery qualities? It falls in a heap of ash and becomes ash. Because next to fire, what is there? Next to fire is ash. So, our situation is like that. That we are actually fire, spark, minute fire, but fire. Spark is fire. But when the spark comes out of the fire, then what happens? It gets extinguished. It loses the fiery qualities, right? And falling on a heap of ash, it becomes ash. Now, we are spiritual, becoming disconnected from Krishna. What happened? We fell into the external energy of Krishna, the material nature. And in this material nature, we have become matter. Although we are spiritual, but we have become matter. We have become this body made of matter. We are identifying ourselves with this body. We are thinking that this is me. And what we are doing? We are trying to gain those spiritual qualities through this material body. Our spiritual qualities are Satchidananda, eternal knowledge and existence. Now, we are trying to make this body eternal. We are trying to make this body conscious, and we are trying to experience joy through this body. Will it ever be possible? That is why one is never satisfied, because it will never be possible. We'll never be able to make this body Satchidananda. But we are Satchidananda. Now how can we become Satchidananda? If we limit our consciousness to this body, will we ever be able to become Satchidananda? No. The way to become Satchidananda, way for that inflammable particle to become fire again, or to regain its fiery qualities, what is the easy way? Go back to the fire. When the spark goes back to the fire, it's fire again. So similarly, when we go back to Krishna, then we are spiritual again. Becoming separated from Krishna, we have become matter. We are identifying ourselves with this body, which is a source of suffering, which is a source of misery. So what we need to do is just go back to Krishna. How do you go back to Krishna? How can a speck of inflammable object that was spark at one time can become fire again? By going back to the fire. So similarly, we have to go back to fire. Now a spark cannot do it by itself, but we can. What is that? That will enable us to go back to Krishna? Our will. We have our independence to decide what we want to do. So all we have to do is just desire to be connected to Krishna. And the process is there, practice the process, it will happen. And that is the purpose of the Vedic scriptures, to show us the way how to go back to our spiritual identity. How to become reinstated in our spiritual identity, how to go back to the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. Does anybody have any question? How many viewers now?
73.
Wow. Yes, Radha Vinod.
So much, like, very good talk, the way you explain everything. That means Krishna wants everyone to go back to Godhead. But at the same time, Krishna is giving so many options to living entity to enjoy their life. If we don't have an option, we know that we have to go back to Godhead. But Krishna is the one giving us, Krishna is the one, the creator, but he's giving us so many options. Any particular reason he's giving all these options to enjoy?
Okay, very good question. So here is Radha Vinod Das. His question is that yes, our goal of life is to go back to Godhead, then why Krishna is giving so many options to enjoy? Those enjoys are actually our test. Krishna is not giving those options. Maya is giving those options. And Maya is giving these options because we wanted it. We wanted to enjoy without Krishna. So Maya said, come, enjoy without Krishna. And what will be the result? As we explained, the more we try to enjoy without Krishna, the more we suffer. That is Maya. More we try to enjoy, the more we suffer. As if this is a punishment. Maya's punishment. The more you try to enjoy, the more you suffer. It's not that Maya is giving us suffering, we are inviting those sufferings. In one hand, Maya is saying, come, enjoy, become the Lord and Master, enjoy through your body. But the more we try to do that, Maya shows us, look how miserable it is, how difficult it is. Why don't you learn your lesson and just go back to Krishna? Why don't you understand a simple fact that in this world you'll never enjoy, you'll simply suffer and suffer and suffer. So surrender to Krishna, you have to act. You have this body, the body will act. But engage the body in the service of Krishna. You have a mind, and the mind will desire. Desire for Krishna. You have intelligence, you'll decide how to get things done. Use your intelligence to serve Krishna. That is the way. Not staying neti, not this, not this. I am not this body. No, not that. The real thing is that I am not this body, but this body has its purpose. This body should be engaged in service of Krishna. That is the purpose of this body. And when you do that, Maya says, good boy. Maya gives a pat in her back. Go on, go on. So this is how Mahamaya turns into Yogamaya. She says, now come, I will take you to Krishna. Okay?
So basically, we are all the time in illusion that I am enjoying.
Yes, when you are in illusion, then you are thinking that you are enjoying. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Radhika.
Is it suffering or is it association of devotees that brings us closer to Krishna?
What's that?
Is it the suffering that we have to go through, or is it association?
Okay, through suffering you turn away from material nature and look for devotees. And then through the association of devotees, you learn, you make your way back to Godhead. Yeah. Yes?
So there's a question from Marian. She's saying, Hamho, Guru Maharaj and devotees, if the husband is abusive to his wife, is this also Krishna's arrangement? And should she therefore accept it?
It will depend how you take it. Huh? Like, well, an example will be, I don't know whether you're married or not, Marian, but just a point, just to make that point clear. You see, Haridas Thakur was being beaten. Haridas Thakur was accepting that this was Krishna's arrangement. Right? So it will depend how advanced one is. If the wife is very advanced, then even if the husband is abusive, she will consider that, well, it's Krishna's arrangement. that Krishna is making me realize how miserable, how difficult, how degraded this material world is. That is how.
She has, but she's not married.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Marian. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Maharaja, just in terms of sometimes our sadhana we try to do and runs, and sometimes we come across difficulties and we think, well, I'm trying and the difficulties are coming along. Is this part of our karma or is this part of our sadhana not being fully surrendered?
You see, yes, it is true. Like the question is that the difficulties that come, is it a part in while executing our sadhana? Is it our karma or it is Krishna's arrangement? That's the question, right? You see, ultimately it's a matter of how we look at it. And our attitude should be anukullena krishnanushilanam. We should accept everything in the favorable light of Krishna consciousness. Right? Now what is that favorable light? The favorable light is that when there is suffering, we consider that it is our karma. When there is enjoyment, we say it's Krishna's mercy. That is the attitude of a devotee. That is the way a devotee sees. On the other hand, a materialistic person, how does he see? When it is enjoyment, he says, well, I earned it. Right? And when there is suffering, it's all Krishna's fault. Right? So this is how the attitude actually reverses in Krishna consciousness. So, like both, like as you said, like is it our karma or is it Krishna? It is up to you to decide. Like look at the enjoyment as the mercy of Krishna. And look at the suffering as your karma. Well, this is what I have created for myself. But now that I surrendered to Krishna, Krishna has just nullified that karma through some small little reaction. So that is how a devotee looks at it. But he always sees things in the light of Krishna consciousness. Okay? Yes, Radha Vinod.
That's a very silly question, but I just wanted to find out. Vidura, all his life, was a very good advisor for the kingdom, for Dhritarashtra. And he was insulted so many times by king, by Duryodhana. Why at this stage that he decided to just leave, where he knew that there is no, the battle was about to start, there is no way they are going to survive against Pandava. At this stage, I think he just decided to just leave. Any particular teaching?
Because when he saw that the situation is so hopeless, he tried so many times, so many years. But when the situation becomes so hopeless, he said, okay, let me go. These people are not going to listen to me. Now that they are going to die, I don't want to be a party to it. So he left. Yeah.
So Charu is asking, Hare Krishna Maharaj, when we feel we are moving forward in KC, then we hear a song from our past we used to like, then we indulge it in the mind. Does that mean we are not moving forward?
No, what's the first part of the question? When we are?
When we are moving forward in Krishna consciousness.
When you're moving forward in Krishna consciousness, then
we hear a song from our past we used to like.
Okay.
Then we indulge it in the mind. Does that mean we are not moving forward?
Well, mind's business is to, shift from one point to another. And it's like a tug of war, tug of war between Krishna consciousness and Maya. In tug of war, what happens? Both the parties are pulling. Sometimes Krishna's side is pulling harder. And then sometimes Maya's side is pulling harder. So that, and your mind is the poor rope that is being constantly tugged between Krishna and Maya. So sometimes Maya will come, but doesn't matter, Let Krishna conscious side win. That is the secret of success. That means when some memories of some song comes, okay, but let that not drag you into the world of Maya. It may come, but for the moment, for the time being, you may dwell, for the time being, you may recall, for the time being, you may remember so many things. But then, shift back to Krishna consciousness. I think it happens to, for example, I was giving the class and I remembered Socrates, right? So that's a kind of a thing from the past, when I was not Krishna conscious, but we are trying to see it in the light of Krishna consciousness. So that's all right. Sometimes we recall poems, and sometimes I do also remember, when I think of Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Sharagrahi Vaishnava poetry. While speaking about it, sometimes I also speak about Coleridge. Coleridge's the rhyme of ancient mariner. And I quote some lines also from there to show the similarity between Coleridge's structure of poetry, of meter and rhyme, with Bhakti Vinod Thakur's writing of Sharagrahi Vaishnava. So that's all right. You can, but the thing is, see everything in the light of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.